from the hood. Hell no. You ain't never got put on.
You ain't from the hood.
I live in the hood, ass nigga. Never got put on, always claiming the hood though. Oh, you fucking with the homegirl, but don't come to the hood with none of your damn homeboys. They don't get a pass. Had the little homies press they ass for your tattoos. Hey, your mama waking up to some bad news. The plug saying groove, I'm a dime. I was long in the race, skinny nigga with the braids, took a 2-man face.
Oh, let me see what the hell. Let me turn my phone on.
To get my money right. But
let me turn my phone on.
They like, poet, oh, you bang? They forgot where I came from. I was gang banging when it wasn't fun. Homie doing life right now, cause we don't play from the hood.
Let me turn this phone on, see who in the chat.
You ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood.
Oh, that's that again. Turn it down.
You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim
hey, wait a minute.
Ain't from the hood.
Wait a minute, let me turn on something.
You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. And that goes for these hoes too. Start fucking on niggas and throwing these niggas hood up.
Bam, there we go. I'm dripping.
Heard you gave a homie head in the trap spot.
Almost messed up, y'all.
In the stash spot. Boy, you not real.
Almost messed up. There we go.
Boy, I'm so high. I'm seeing astronauts. Boy, I ball hard. I need a mascot. Oh, it, and Swahili, I'm a down move.
Control and
my little cousin making power. My nigga Uzi, he from Fire Deuce. Pad blows, I be hanging with some real whoops. Gang signs out the window when we drive coupes. Making money with some crips like it's 92. Banging on tracks, banging on tracks. Back in my days, it was banging on. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. So, you ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to set blood ain't from the hood. Hell no. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch your fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga. Frogs.
You ain't from the hood.
They ain't from the hood. They ain't from the hood. I don't know why the thing went like this. Shout out to Justin Jarvis. Say he donated for my hitman. That nigga need to hurry up. You are right about that, Justin Jarvis. Shout out to Justin Jarvis for the donation. Also, shout out to Time. Time always in the building. Time, for I can add the zero. I wish you could add a zero, Time, like 420 Time. 420. Oh, 420. I know what you meant. I know what you meant, 420. That was a good one, Tom. Shout out to Diana Pereira. Google now admitting that men can have babies. Look, I'm going to tell you after I do this last little shout out. I'm going to tell you after I do this last little shout out. But last but not least, Beth Roberts sent a nigga 2 donations. Birthday celebrations coming up. But the reason why I'm doing this video today, this was supposed to be a skit. This video is so good right here. I want it to be a skit. But this video was supposed to come out tomorrow, and I was supposed to do the Roe versus Wade, the whole story, you know what I'm saying, from beginning to end, the whole Roe story, you know what I'm saying? I had that, and I accidentally erased it. That was supposed to be the skit for today, and I accidentally erased it. I had the video already, I had everything ready, and I accidentally erased it. So now I got to do it over. Now I got to do this skit today. This was supposed to be a skit for tomorrow. Now I got to do a live today, and I got to do the skit for Roe versus Wade tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it gives me a chance to talk, you know what I'm saying? So lives and skits. Lives give me a chance to talk. Skits give me a chance to do jokes and get to the point. But lives give me a chance to do more jokes and talk to the people. But anyway, I have found out, you know, I be doing the investigative work, right? You know, I do investigative work like no other, right? And I have found out the reason why there's no milk in the United States, right? I done found out why. You won't hear this on Fox. You won't hear this on CNN. You won't hear this on MSNBC. You won't hear this on... Oh, wait a minute. I got Randy K up in the house. Let's get the party started, Randy. Get the party started. If you want to get the party started, be like Randy K and send a nigga a donation. Good looking out, Randy K, my boy. I forgot to call you. Randy, I forgot to call your ass yesterday. I supposed to call you yesterday, Randy. I forgot. I supposed to call you and talk some shit to you yesterday, Randy. I forgot. Randy, my boy right there, we on a personal relationship. We call each other like, what's up? Shout out to my boy Randy. Let me go back to this live chat. Anyway, but you will only get this information here. You won't get this information anywhere else. Now, can Anybody tell me, I'm finna see if y'all can guess. Can anybody tell me why do you think, it's the number of reasons. So if you name a reason, I'm gonna tell you right. It's about 10 different reasons on why it's ain't no baby formula in the United States. Oh, somebody else got the party started. Blazer 101. What's up with you? You the man. What's up? You the man, Blazer 101. You are the one, Blazer 101. Look in the chat. Do anybody know, besides, including Blazer 101, because I'm the man, Blazer 101, right? Do anybody know why it's a shortage of baby's formula? Right? I'm finna get into the chat. Huh? Let's get some guesses up here, and I'm finna let you see if you're on the right track. Let you know if you're on the right track. Why is it ain't no milk? That don't even make sense, huh? Why is it ain't no milk? That sounds good. Why is it ain't no milk? I'm trying to I wish I had the music and shit. One day I'm gonna have a real show, like a real, you know what I'm saying, thing where I can be on there and I can have somebody else doing all the button pushing and all that other stuff, and I can just tell the jokes, right? Hold on, let me go. Like we got some answers up in here, right? They sent it to Mexico. Bingo! Nathan Johnson got one. Bill Gates wants to introduce a new bio milk. Oh, I should look that one up. Frank the Fleet Man, I should look that one up, right? Giving it to illegals, yes. For the border. But that's not the only reason. We got some other reasons why the milk ain't getting to the babies. It's part of the plan. Tyler Herman, you're right. It's part of the plan. But what plan, Tyler? Let's get into a little deeper than that. What plan is it, Tyler? Nathan, don't need your American baby. Said Nathan, don't be ignorant. Mexico don't need your American baby formula. They need to smuggle some of that shit over here with them. What you mean you coming over here with clothes and you coming over here with backpacks and Nikes and jewelries and you ain't got no damn baby formula you came with? What the hell your baby was eating during the trip over here to the United States, right? All them months and stuff. You ran out of baby formula? Or you packed that much baby formula on the trip from here to Mexico? You can't tell me, are they having babies right there in the camp where they can feed the babies the infant meal, right? So it's either or. Them babies got to be strong as hell if they can make it through the desert in the snow and the rain and all that turn. And you mean to tell me they was making baby food on the way from Mexico to cross the border? Hell no, I can't believe that. I'm not believing that. Is that Slaphead in the house? I thought Slaphead was in the house. Black smoke matters. You damn right it matter. Joe shut him down. We got Joe. Oh, yeah, they gonna Slaphead. I saw the Slaphead. I was like, oh, I heard somebody say Slaphead. I read the chat late. Slaphead in the middle. What's up, Slaphead? Thumbs up to Slaphead, my boy. Slaphead always in the chat. Slaphead ain't missed a show in donating. Good looking out, Slaphead show. Slaphead ain't missed a show. Slaphead or RJ Man. RJ Man, when he come in, you gonna see a donation. RJ Man, Randy K ain't missed a show with donation. You gonna see, as soon as RJ Man come in, gonna say ding. But anyway, let's get into this video, y'all, on why. There's lots of reasons why. But I'm gonna let you know, it's one main reason why. And Joe Biden could have solved this problem months ago. Joe Biden knew this problem was coming. For Joe Biden to say this, he didn't know this problem was coming, was a damn lie. Joe Biden been preaching it. He been talking about it. His administration been talking about it. He been knowing all the things been happening that can cause a shortage. But Joe Biden didn't take precautions, right? And didn't prepare himself for this moment. Now, it's been mothers speaking out for months. But let me know, I can let you know who this is a war on, right? This is not a war on women, even though it is, right? It's not a war on black women, right? It's not a war on black women. It's not a war on white women, right? It's not, you can say it's a war on America, right? But this is a war on middle-class women, right? This is a war on middle-class women because it's middle-class women that's suffering the brunt of it not being milk. Because remember, they saying buy milk. Well, they got programs in the county where they stock up milk and you get milk for free, right? So people on certain programs and stuff like that, they get milk for free. They don't have to buy their milk unless they run out, right? But this is a war on the middle class because a middle class woman that got to go around looking for milk and stuff like that. She's not getting no government funding. She's not in no program or like that. And she got to buy her milk fresh off the damn shelf. She's a working woman, right? She don't have time to breastfeed, so she got to buy this milk, right? So this is a war on the middle class woman, right? I'm finna get into it, right? On how Joe Biden could have been solved this, how Joe Biden could have been knocked this shit out the water, right? If he wanted to, but he don't want to. This shit is deep. I wish I could have made a skit out of it, but this shit is deep, y'all. Let's get into it.
Why are there shortages on infant formula?
A lot about something called supply chains.
Right? That is the main reason why we ain't got no baby food. Supply chain. Who created supply chain crisis? Joe Biden. The number one reason we ain't got no baby formula, supply chain. And the main cause and the main root and the main situation with all that supply chain was the pandemic, right? So we still suffering from the pandemic. Now, Joe Biden, if you knew the supply chain was going to be a crisis, right, and you knew baby formula, everything was going to be short, right, you should have been prepared. But because remember, I'm finna go back, right? I'm finna go back. Remember before the holidays when we was talking about it's not going to be enough food to go around. People was running out of turkeys and stuff like that. That was way in November we was running out of food. Remember he was talking about we're going to get the food back on the shelves and stuff like that for the holiday season. It's not going to be a shortage. Remember that? That was 7 months ago, Joe. You mean to tell me we was running out of food then and you didn't do nothing? Right? It's been the baby formula factory shut down because of the COVID. I mean, because of some weird stuff we're finna get into. But that didn't matter either. Joe didn't take precautions with that either. But the main cause is supply chain. How come the mothers knew this? How come all the news stations knew this? The local news stations, but Joe Biden didn't. I thought you was supposed to be talking to the people. You're supposed to represent the people. But supply chain. Look how many of these people talk about supply chain. And this not a video. These are videos from a week ago, from 2 days ago. These are videos from 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And if I was just to play and I didn't tell you, you would think these videos was today or yesterday. These women and these newscasters are talking about 5 or 6 months ago.
If you watch the news recently, you might think the shelves in all our stores are empty across the country and how hard it is to get a range of things from a toaster to sneakers to bicycles to bedroom furniture.
But he didn't say baby formula. It was hard to get everything. Remember, bikes, exercise machine. Remember, Jen Psaki made a joke about that. TVs, laptops, phones. It was a problem getting everything. Food. Why you didn't mention baby food, Joe? You know it's a shortage on everything. Why you didn't prepare for the baby food? The one of the most essential things we need in America. Baby food. Millions of babies.
The harsh reality of Joe Biden's America really coming into focus these past couple of weeks. The president getting ridiculed online as #EmptyShelvesJoe over the supply chain crisis he waited too long to fix.
And that's why back in February, I signed a piece of legislation on supply chain, an executive order on supply chains. I want to be clear. This is across the board commitment to going to 24/7. This is a big first step.
Remember we opened up the Long Beach port and the LA port, talking about we opened up 24/7. It's going to be supplies on the shelf. It's going to be supplies on the shelf. This is after, right? This is when all the ships and all the things was stocked up in the river. Well, we're going to do something. We're going to get them out of here 24/7 and stuff like that. We're going to put stuff back on the shelf. But there was no baby formula. That was shipping. We talking about production, Joe. Where's the production, Joe? If you knew the baby formula was going to be short, production, right? But you know what? You need employees for production, right? So not only was we in a pandemic, not only was a factory shut down, not only was the transportation shut down, we also didn't have no workers to produce it.
Speeding up the movement of materials and goods through our supply chain. But now we need the rest of the private sector chain to step up as well.
You knew he was going to blame it on the private sector, right? You knew it wouldn't have been a video if Joe Biden wouldn't have blamed the private sector. So months ago, he blamed the private sector for food shortages. Who do you think he's going to blame later on for the baby formula shortages? Right? He blamed the food shortages on why it ain't getting to the stores on the private companies. They were suffering the same problem then with real food as we suffering right now with baby food.
Without major transformation of everything to do in food, farms, retailers, food companies, we're going to see shortages and price increases for the next 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months. These are experts, all the experts Joe talking about. We're going to see food increases and shortages for the next 12 to 18 months. Huh? We probably ain't a year in. We got a whole nother year to go. We probably 6 months in. But supply chain, remember the word supply chain. Something Joe Biden said he was going to fix. Every time he got on TV, he was going to fix.
That parents won't be able to get presents for their children on this holiday season. But here's the deal. For the vast majority of the country, that's not what's happening.
Huh? For the vast majority. Remember, people was worried about getting gifts. They wasn't worried about getting their Christmas gifts. Remember, he said it wasn't going to happen. You going to get your gifts for Christmas, but he didn't say nothing about baby milk.
That much lettuce.
Store shelves nearly empty of fruits, vegetables, beef, and chicken. Even some cereals, bakery, and juice items hard to find.
Because of the actions the administration has taken in partnership with business and labor, retailers and grocery stores, freight movers and railroads, and those shelves are going to be stocked.
Huh? The shelves are going to be stocked. Joe Biden said he fixed the supply chain. We're not even on the baby food right now. We just on 6 months ago when he was talking about regular food.
A typical year, 5 to 10% of grocery items may be unavailable. Today, nationwide, roughly 15% are out of stock.
And sell more?
KK DeVay with retail research firm IRI says for major brands of baby formula powder, the average national in-stock rate before the pandemic was 95%.
Now, we still talking about the pandemic. This 5 months ago. Remember, this not yesterday. They're not even talking about the baby shortage. They ain't even talking about right now. They're not talking about nothing about Joe Biden. This 5 or 6 months ago.
But his firm found as of last week, rates of availability across 10 national retailers ranged from 98% to as low as 75%.
It was coming. The baby formula shortage was coming. Joe Biden wasn't prepared, just like he wasn't prepared with COVID, just like he wasn't prepared with the pandemic, just like he wasn't prepared with Afghanistan, Russia, Ukraine. He wasn't prepared. Had plenty of opportunity, had plenty of warnings.
In fact, research tells us that a company can expect to lose over 40% of 1 year's earnings every 10 years.
I guess this is a 10-year for baby food.
This is not called a supply chain for nothing.
The National Grocers Association tells NBC News, while there is plenty of food in the supply chain, we anticipate consumers will continue to experience sporadic disruptions in certain product categories.
Huh? Even though there's plenty of baby food, plenty of food and stuff like that, we're still going to experience shortage because of what? Supply chains. Right? And Joe Biden out here talking about it's not this was before the election, right? The May 2020, right? When he was talking about we need a good leader about supply chain and stuff like that. So Joe Biden knew it was a supply chain issue way back in 2020, and he still ain't done nothing in 2022. He had 2 years to prepare for this, and he done nothing.
We don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem.
Now to our big story at 4. Grocery store shelves are empty yet again, and it could reportedly be months before they're stocked to normal levels.
And we're not even talking about baby food yet. Regular food. Regular food is still out. Regular food is still high. Regular food is still sitting on the shelf because people can't afford it. Right? People are doubling down on food because they can't afford the chicken wings and stuff like that no more, like they used to. Right? So that's the only reason why we got food in certain places. But remember, back then, it wasn't no food because of the pandemic.
One of the reasons why we're not getting material and food to people's tables is because there's no way to get it transported to there. We don't know how to manage what's going on.
Industry insiders saying that the supply chain struggle is not a quick fix right now, and that's because of the labor shortages as well as inflation.
We can't afford
labor shortages as well as inflation, right? Labor shortages. Where do we get labor shortages from, Joe? Who was the main cause of labor? Laying everybody off. Mandates. Do this or you're fired. Who was the main person doing that? Shutdowns. Right? Who was the main person, the cause of labor shortages? Joe Biden? Labor shortages and transportation issues.
We can't afford to let people go wondering where they're going to get their next meal.
Empty shelves at grocery stores across the country. Just look at what we saw for ourselves today. The National Grocers Association says it's a staffing shortage, with many stores operating with less than 50% of their workers.
Staffing shortages. Huh? Back then it was staffing shortages. Who fault is this, Joe Biden? Who created this problem? Staffing shortages. Huh? Supply chain issues. That has nothing to do with Donald Trump. That has nothing to do with any employer, private sector, a manufacturing company. That has everything to do with Joe Biden. That's not it. It gets deeper, y'all.
And so right now, Hunger Today isn't about scarcity. It's about massive failure in leadership.
Earlier this fall, we heard a lot of dire warnings about supply chain problems leading to a crisis around the holidays.
What? Around the holidays? When was the holiday? He ain't talking about Mother's Day. Huh? He ain't talking about Easter. Huh? He ain't talking about New Year's. He ain't talking about Valentine's Day. He talking about Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Parents looking to buy baby formula say they are finding empty shelves. In the U.S., this one hitting...
Now we getting to the baby... Look, now we getting to the baby formula, right? And this wasn't... Remember... I'm not talking about, this video is not talking about just now. This video is from like 3 months ago. We update, this was from 5 months ago with the labor shortages and the food shortages, right? Now this is from 3 months ago or 4 months ago, right? So if these people knew on the news and they reported it and the mothers knew, how the fuck the Biden administration didn't know? Huh? Can you riddle me that? How the fuck the Biden administration didn't know and everybody else knew? Huh? Including the mothers, including the FDA, including everybody. Huh? How everybody knew and didn't Joe Biden ain't done a thing. Right? It's a war on the middle class women. And I will let you know why in a minute.
Some parents looking to buy baby formula say they are finding empty shelves.
In the U.S., this one hitting some of the youngest Americans. Some parents looking to buy baby formula say they are finding empty shelves.
It's happening across the country, and it's been going on for weeks.
And it's happening across the country, and it's been going on for weeks.
Huh? Wait a minute. It's been going on for weeks. Baby shortages on baby formula. You mean to tell me Joe Biden just found out and this shit been going on for months? And Joe Biden just found out? I thought Joe Biden was for the people, right? No, remember, this is only hurting the middle class woman. The middle class woman.
So we acted. We brought together business and labor leaders to solve problems. And the much predicted crisis didn't occur.
Oh, it didn't occur, huh? So all these women around here looking for baby formula is just a figment of their imagination because you fixed the supply chain. That's what Joe Biden said months ago before this shit happened.
Shelves are not empty.
Strengthening our supply chain will continue to be my team's focus.
Woo!
How
many times Joe Biden got on here and lied in your face? Do anybody believe the supply chain is strengthened? And he's been talking about this shit way before the holidays. Do anybody believe for one instance the supply chain is fixed?
Support is needed. I will direct all appropriate action. And if the private sector doesn't step up, we're going to call them out and ask them to act.
Issues are starting to impact infants as baby formula might be harder to find in stores. Walgreens says the demand for infant formula is increasing nationwide, and at the same time, suppliers are struggling to restock shelves.
Because our goal is not only to get through this immediate bottleneck, but to address the long-standing weaknesses in our transportation supply chain that this pandemic has exposed.
The pandemic has exposed. No, Joe Biden, the pandemic ain't exposed. You exposed it. All these mandates, all these regulations, right? Remember Donald Trump cut regulations. Shit was able to go. Joe Biden added regulations on truckers, on factories, on everything. It's because of regulations this shit is not happening. I can get into that a little later on too.
Many parents around the country are reporting the same thing: bare shelves or very low stocks of baby formula.
Parenthetically, one of the reasons why I think it's very important that we get the infrastructure plan passed.
Right.
My infrastructure plan.
Joe
The
Biden
Infant
said,
Nutrition Council of America.
Joe Biden said it's important to get the infrastructure plan passed because the infrastructure passed, right? The infrastructure bill would have saved the babies, right? It would have saved it would have saved the transportation. It would have saved the production. It would have saved the manufacturing. It would have saved the supply chain. Joe Biden said this. No Build Back Better plan, right? No supply chain getting better, right? You ain't gonna get your products. This is a punishment for not voting for the Build Back Better plan.
Infant Nutrition Council of America confirms reports of challenges across supply chains.
We need to think big and bold. That's why I'm pushing for a once-in-a-generation investment in our infrastructure and our people with my infrastructure bill and my Build Back Better Act. And that supply chain system is almost entirely in the hands of the private business.
Council of
It's always in the hands of the private business. Throw it in the hands of the private business. Well, the private business say they got plenty of it, but we ain't got no way to get it out. Who fault is that, Joe Biden?
America confirms there are reports of challenges across supply chains.
Yeah, the maker of Enfamil says there is ample supply of their formula products, but say sales are up 18%, which is more than double the birth rate. The company says in response it's ramping up production and is currently shipping 50% more product to address issues as fast as possible.
Okay, it went up 18%, right? And they started producing 50%. And this is a couple of months ago, right? They started producing more. But Joe Biden said, we finna start asking them to produce right now. We ain't gotten to that part yet. But this is still Joe Biden talking about the regular food supply, right? Back in the days when we didn't have no food in the holidays.
And today we have some good news. They're going to help speed up the delivery of goods all across America.
What goes through your head when you're not able to get the formula that you need?
I go into full panic mode. What am I going to do? Is my son going to go hungry at night?
After weeks of negotiation and working with my team and with the major union retailers and freight movers, the Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You're too late for that, Joe.
This follows the Port of Long Beach's commitment to 24/7 that it announced just weeks ago.
Too late for that. You had weeks of negotiation just to have them open the ports for 24 hours. That's because you have to cut all them regulations you put on.
24/7 system, what most of the leading countries in the world already operate on now, except us, until now.
Because you cut regulations, like Donald Trump.
This is the first key step toward moving our entire freight, transportation, and logistical supply chain nationwide to a 24/7 system. It has the potential to be a game changer.
It has the potential to be a game changer, right? Remember, he said it has the potential to be a game changer, right? Because all the stuff he's doing, the 24-hour, you know what I'm saying, and dropping regulations, it has the potential to be a game changer, but it haven't changed shit yet.
It's the scariest feeling when you're just trying to feed your baby and you cannot find the formula anywhere.
I say potential because all of these goods...
You heard him? I say potential, right? That means not really. So if it was a fail, he can say, I said potential. But these mothers were starving for milk months ago. These are not mothers asking for milk 2 days ago, not 3 days ago. These are mothers asking for milk 3 months ago. 3 months ago, mothers was looking for milk 3 months ago.
Won't move by themselves. Never again should we have to rely too heavily on one company or one country or one person in the world, particularly when countries don't share our values when it comes to labor and environmental standards.
Well, absolutely. It's a serious issue, and there are a set of steps that we need to take right now. First, we need to make it as easy as possible for retailers to sell the formula that they have and for consumers to buy it.
What kind of shit is that? First, we need to make it easier for retailers to sell it, and we need to make it easier for consumers to buy it. Really? That's your solution? We need to make it easier for retailers to sell it, and we need to make it easier for consumers to buy it. Genius! That is genius!
The Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers not to use or purchase certain powdered formulas, Alimentum, Similac, and Elecare.
Do anybody know why the FDA say don't take the Similac, right? They say don't drink the milk. Don't give your baby the milk because it's killing babies.
Made by Abbott Nutrition as it investigates a possible link to 4 babies being hospitalized with serious bacterial infections.
Wait. Did you say a possible link? What do you mean a possible link? Huh? What do you mean a possible link? So a possible means it's a possibility it didn't happen, right? So you shut down a factory for a possible leak. A possible.
We are aware of baby formula shortages in some retailers and will do everything possible to ensure you don't run out of formula.
And that's the company saying we're going to do everything this is a couple of months ago, this Infamil, a couple of months ago. We're going to step up our production to make sure you don't run out of formula.
We appreciate your patience as we navigate this dynamic situation, and we will continue to provide updates to our community as the situation evolves.
But now the Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers not to use or purchase certain powdered Alimentum, Similac, and Elecare formula with an expiration date of April 1st, 2022 or later, manufactured by Abbott Nutrition. The FDA said
Abbott Nutrition, right? The FDA say is bacteria, right? It's killing babies.
As all 4 consumed powdered formula manufactured at this Abbott facility in Sturgis, Michigan. 3 of the children tested positive for strains of Cronobacter and the other with Salmonella.
Damn, that factory must be fucked up. They poisoning babies. It needs to be shut down if it's poisoning babies. But wait a minute. I forgot the lady said it's a possibility it came from the factory. Not a fact. It's a possibility.
After Abbott recalled 3 major brands of baby formula made at its plant in Sturgis, it's still unclear what specifically was to blame.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? It's not clear what specifically was the blame. What do you mean? A possibility, and it was not sure what was the blame. What do you mean? I thought the babies got poisoned. I thought it was poison found in the baby food. Now, what do you mean it's not sure? It's a possibility. I don't understand what that means.
Really making an already difficult situation, having a new baby, being postpartum, especially in a pandemic, a little bit worse.
New tonight, we have an urgent message for parents. Abbott Nutrition recently added more baby formula to their recall list. This after infants died or got sick from drinking the formula.
Wait, okay, so you saying babies died or got sick from drinking the formula. Okay, that's more like it. She said the baby died, right? So I'm listening to you, right? You say the baby has died from drinking the formula. Okay, I can go with that. I trust the news, right? And if the information guru, right, this information czar was watching this, she'll say, okay, the baby died, right, from drinking this formula. And she wouldn't call this disinformation because the baby's died and it's been proven.
The company responding to the latest FDA report with a statement to News 8, reading in part, "We value the trust patients and caregivers place in us, and ensuring the safety and quality of our products is our top priority. No Cronobacter, Sakazaki, or Salmonella was found in any of our testing or products distributed to consumers."
Wait a minute. So, wait a minute. The lady just said on the news, the baby died and other babies are found sick from drinking your product. So what do you mean you tested your product, right, and none was found in your product or any product you distributed, right? What do you mean by that? The FDA said it. The news said it. What do you mean? You tested it and wasn't nothing found. Did the FDA discredit that? right? I thought, oh, I forgot. The lady said it was a possibility, and the other person said we don't know where it came from. But one person said it was a murder. It was a baby death. I don't know who to believe now.
In addition, the unique genetic makeup of the Coronabacter Sakazaki microbes found in non-product areas at the Sturgis facility did not match the Coronabacter Sakazaki microbes from the reported cases.
Wait. So you saying the FDA found something in other places that didn't involve anything to have to do with baby food, and that's why they shut it down? They shut y'all down for safety and regulations, and not for killing babies? Wait, where the connection at? Months of baby. How many babies finna suffer now, right? Because you shut the factory down because it wasn't sanitary enough for your regulations, right? But no babies died. No babies was poisoned. No baby had any of the same things found in the factory that they thought they got sick from. But the factory was shut down, and it hasn't been restarted yet.
Need to ramp up production of formula. As you mentioned, Abbott had to recall and stop, but the president was on the phone with the other major manufacturer.
Abbott had to recall, right, for poisoning babies that they really didn't poison.
Of baby formula yesterday. Good news there. They're increasing production 30 to 50%. We need to ramp that up and also look at where we could safely import more baby formula as well.
She was throwing.
Okay, now this baby got sick from one of the infant milks, right? This baby right here got sick from one of the cans of infant milk. So I can believe her right here. You know what I'm saying? Because she has a true story. Her baby got sick from drinking the infant milk.
Up, diarrhea, screaming, like so uncomfortable. She was having temperatures go up and down, and I just didn't know what was wrong with her.
Myers took Emma to the hospital, but all tests came back negative.
Wait a minute. She took her to the hospital, but all tests came back negative. So she wasn't found with no salmonella and all the stuff that was supposedly found at the Abbott factory. She wasn't found with none of that in her system. Why is she on the news then?
A few weeks later, she learned Emma's formula was featured on a national recall list. Myers can't say for certain it was the formula making her daughter sick, but since switching off from it, Emma's issues are resolved.
These latest...
Emma's issues are resolved right now because Emma stopped drinking the milk. No poison found. She could have been just drinking the wrong milk. She could have switched milk. Why is she on the news when her baby wasn't poisoned? All she done was switch milks. Huh? So she wasn't really sick from the thing. She's on the news. So now I'm starting to believe the Abbott. Wasn't nothing found. And this lady finna tell you what they found in the factory. And tell me, do any of this have to do with baby poisoning?
These latest reports still leave a lot of questions unanswered around how exactly did the formula become contaminated in this outbreak.
Sarah Sorsher is with an independent consumer advocacy group. She says the report shows Abbott failed to maintain a sanitary facility, with FDA inspectors finding multiple locations with Coronabacter bacteria.
Multiple locations with bacteria, right? Multiple locations. They failed to keep a sanitary factory.
They flagged that there was issues with water dripping and pooling in areas where it could cause risks.
Water dripping and pooling in area. A leaky faucet, basically. Right? A leaky faucet that haven't been fixed.
Evidence of equipment that was being poorly maintained that had cracks.
Equipment that had cracks in it. Right? Had cracks in it, right? So update the equipment, okay. It had a crack in it. It wasn't unsanitary. It had a crack in it.
That drying equipment that hadn't been tested to ensure that it was thoroughly drying the formula.
What do you...
Huh? Nothing had to do with killing the baby. The FDA shut the factory down for cracks in equipment, water pooling in areas, and some kind of... They didn't test the drying equipment or some shit like that. Huh? You shut down Abbott for that? and when it was linked to not killing their baby. Wait a minute. So even let's take it for and say 4 babies got sick, right? And 1 baby passed away. Out of the million cans, out of 320, I say out of 320 million, out of the damn near 20 million babies that's on Earth right now, right? You mean to tell me 4 got sick and 1 possible died, and you're going to recall everything for that without running the proper tests and run the proper procedures and see the connection, or if that baby died, and now you're going to make other babies suffer because of that? That wasn't even true? Everybody thought the babies had died from the milk. They threw their powder away. They threw it away. Don't do it. The FDA say don't give your baby the powder. The news say don't give your baby the powder. Right? But the company that tested the stuff said, hey, you can do what you want, but it wasn't no poison found in ours that matched theirs. The poison they talking about was a whole different thing, a bacteria what we found in ours. And the FDA didn't say we was lying. And the FDA can collaborate because they ain't debunked our story yet. So the stuff, right, that the babies got ain't got nothing to do with us. Right? So all the shortage and the people throwing it away and the cutting of the production and all that shit happened to do with a fucking lie.
Say to the mother or the father sitting at home right now and said, I've been to Walmart, I've been to CVS, I've been to every store I can think of, and I cannot find food for my baby. What's their move here?
We are sparing no effort and no tool in our toolbox to try to accelerate this and ramp this up. And I think that we will see some serious production increases and some relief on those shelves as a result of these actions.
Baby formula shortage getting worse. As most parents of babies already know, there's been a baby formula shortage for the past couple of months.
For the past couple of months. Not past couple of days, past couple of months. Ever since Joe Biden talking about the supply chain from this pandemic, past couple of months.
Issues are starting to impact infants as baby formula might be harder to find in stores.
But instead of getting better, the issue appears to be worsening.
regard to the issue of formula, we've done 3 things, and I know Jen Psaki spoke to this today.
And I know damn what Jen Psaki spoke to. Let's talk about what the mother spoke to months ago, right? Because I'm not bringing up the new mother from yesterday and today, who y'all just found out, right? That was running out of milk. I'm talking about the mother that was running out of milk months ago. I'm talking about these mothers.
COVID already is stressful enough, and then when you can't get what you need for your child, like that's a crisis.
This is something out of a mother's control, and it's not something that any mother or any parent should ever have to worry about. I go into full panic mode. I get really anxious.
About half of the formula in the United States goes through what's known as the WIC program.
Wait a minute. Half of the formula produced goes through the WIC program, right? Now, do anybody on here know what is the WIC program? Right? Do anybody on here know what the WIC program is? Half of the milk that's produced by these companies goes to the WIC program. W-I-C. Huh? Do anybody know what the WIC program is? Before we go any further in the video, right? And let you see where your milk going and how the middle class woman is suffering. Huh? Do anybody? The WIC program is a program for mostly welfare recipient mothers, right? Mostly welfare recipient mothers, right? So, women that can sit at their home and actually breastfeed more than the average woman, right? Because they, mostly on the system, right? And that's how that's mainly how they get their milk, right? Right. So they can be on breast milk, right? But or they can do breast milk, but they getting half of the cans produced in the country, right? And immigrants getting probably a third. So what does the middle class woman work with to even by a third.
That in normal times has pretty strict regulations. Right now, we need to relax those regulations. Every state in the country needs to move on that right away.
The White House says they're stepping in, offering families that rely on government assistance more flexibility to purchase any brand of baby formula that's available.
What do you mean? The government is stepping in and the women on welfare can purchase. They don't purchase it, they get it for free. While the average woman is struggling, by any way you like this, and I'm hitting it on that, you can also send me a super chat, you know what I'm saying, if I'm on it, you know what I'm saying. Do me a favor and send me a super chat, because it ain't over. I got more information to come. But you see how welfare women, right, and women on welfare got the action and the possibilities and the opportunity to get what the fuck they want. While the working middle class woman is driving hours out of the country, you got to get shit mailed to her, buying it on eBay and Amazon for $140, $150 a damn box, a can. Right? It's a war on the middle class working woman. Families on assistance, flexibility to purchase any brand they want.
Number one, we're releasing guidance today to all the states, the possible flexibilities in the WIC program, the Women, Infant, Children program.
The WIC program, Joe Biden letting you know that the middle class woman ain't getting shit. We releasing the regulations, because the regulations on women, right, who can get 1 can or 2 cans of WIC, right? Because it's a program. You get 1 can of this, you get 1 can of this, and a bottle of this, you get fresh eggs, you get certain things, right? Peanut butter and bread and stuff like that. Also for the mother to eat healthy, for her to produce milk so she can breastfeed, right? It's all about woman's health, right? So what they're telling you is they're going to release the regulations for the WIC women, and they'll be able to get how many cans of formula they want, and whatever kind of formula they want. While the middle class woman is stretching her shit, is looking for stuff, gotta do extra things to feed her baby, right? The lady that's on welfare, the lady that's on WIC, can do anything and get anything she wants, according to Joe Biden.
Meanwhile, the administration is also working with U.S. states to cut red tape on poor families who are buying infant milk through food stamps.
Because there are very sort of strict guidelines that when you walk in, if you have a WIC, you can go in and purchase a certain amount of formula, but you can't purchase more of it.
And some of them.
Joe Biden, right, is telling you he finna let women on welfare get as much milk as they want to. They can hoard the milk, right? Why is middle class women breaking down in tears, stressing out about how they're gonna feed their baby? The average woman who don't work and is on welfare and the average immigrant do not have that problem. It's only the working class middle woman.
And some of them have been to the point of tears trying to find baby formula.
I really hope that whatever issues that they're having, that they really learn from it and things get better in the future.
The problem is the packaging issues are becoming a difficulty. And so we've changing it so that the WIC program, you can buy what's on the shelf.
You can, and they got extra stuff. It's not going into the stores, right? It's going into the WIC program, right? I can go around, right, in LA right now, right, and go to the WIC stores, and they be stacked with baby meal, with baby formula, right? I go to the store, you can't find none, right? Think about it. The welfare programs in California got all the baby milk. They have to be on welfare for your baby to eat.
So that they're not as it's the top issue raised with me.
No matter where we looked, it was sold out.
It is very stressful because you are worried about whether or not your child is going to be able to have the proper nutrition.
There literally have been times where I'm like, okay, well, you might get a little bit more water added because we need to kind of stretch this out.
That's because you are the working woman, right? You're not the welfare woman, right? You're going to have trouble feeding your kids because you work.
I'm a little concerned by the way you describe the state by state loosening of regulations and how states would have to take, action separate from the federal government. This really seems like an area where President Biden could use his power as chief executive through an executive order just to make it okay for foreign formula that is safe. Particularly, we know Canadian formula is great. We know German formula is great. There are plenty of other nations where the formula is great. To get that formula to mothers now, because
now, right now. What are you waiting on, Joe Biden? Cut the regulations, right? Joe Biden got so many regulations and stuff like that on milk and things to enter this country. It'll take months for it to go through all them regulations just to get over here. Joe Biden is the king of regulations. Obama was the king of regulations, right? Remember when Joe Biden came into office, he knocked a gang of Donald Trump regulations off the table. He cut them. What do you think you're suffering from right now? Regulations on supply chain, regulations on food, regulations on imports. All done by Joe Biden. Nobody else.
Because when you have a screaming baby who's hungry, that is the most desperate situation you can be in as a parent. So why doesn't President Biden use his executive order authority?
With respect to the states, we run the federal WIC program, and
we run the federal WIC program. It's not about the working mother, right? It's about the WIC program, where half the milk or half the formula goes in the country. And who runs the WIC? The federal government. He said it. The federal government runs the WIC program. It's a federal funded program. So the federal government is letting you know who can eat and who cannot. Huh? Remember, it's coming down to that. When the federal government is controlling who the fuck is eating. What babies can be healthy? What babies can survive? Babies have a better chance of surviving? You have to go through the federal government to get funded and have your baby to get something to eat.
And we are providing guidance to states today. The USDA is out with that guidance to urge states to all reduce these regulations. Most of them have.
So the flexibility.
Regulations. Huh? Joe Biden, they still talking about WIC and regulations on WIC. They're not talking about how they're going to get it to the single mothers. They're not talking about how they're going to get it to the working class mother, to the married woman. Huh? They're not talking about you. Right? They're not talking about the average woman who's driving all around, going to store. No. You're not on the WIC program. You don't get no milk.
Ability to have formula in stock should not depend on whether you have it packaged exactly what meets the requirement for for people on the WIC program.
Huh? Whatever, damn the packaging, because it usually be how many packages, like you get 4 in the package or 3 in the package. He's saying, cut the regulations and let them get as much as they want to. And what do most of them women do, right? Because I'm going to tell you what they do. They go on Instagram, they go on social media, and they sell them. They stand in front of the stores and they sell them 100, 200, because they know it's women out here that's desperate to feed their baby. They don't give them to their baby. Some of them babies on regular food. What they do? They sell the cans. They sell them. Black market. All day long. Most of these women ain't using that food. Some of these women can't afford to get, you know what? A lot of women in Los Angeles, in the hood, right, try to get their baby off of baby food as early as possible, right? So they won't have to feed the baby and get them high-ass cans of baby food when the baby run out of the food, the baby food formula that the state give them. Right? So what they do is they put their baby on regular food as early as possible. Then they still apply for the WIC program, and they still get the baby formula, and they sell it. Right? They sell it to the middle class woman, to the working woman. Right? They sell it. They got baby milk and baby formula locked down in the stores over here, like it's a Russian war camp or something.
New this morning, some moms across Metro Atlanta are frustrated and they're worried when they find empty shelves when they go to find baby formula. It is a necessity.
Secondly, the FDA just issued a statement. We worked on it. I was on the telephone. And by the way, that on the WIC program, when I spoke to Walmart and I spoke to the major distributors for an hour or so yesterday, the day before, I can't remember. They wanted to have this flexibility because they didn't want to be violating the law.
Huh? They didn't want to be violating the law. That means they couldn't produce more milk because of your regulations. So they have to ask you, can they produce more milk because of your regulations? Think about this. They have people scared to produce milk and distribute milk, right, because of Joe Biden regulations. They have to ask him to cut them because they didn't want to get in trouble by producing too much milk. This shit is deep.
You haven't, but the way that process runs in the country, what we can do out of the White House is provide clear and urgent guidance. We're urging the remaining states that haven't moved on that to do that today. We're hopeful and expectant that they will move, but there are some places where we need partnership either from states or from companies. But make no mistake, the President of the United States will use every tool at his disposal.
Second,
every tool at his disposal, right, to get it to welfare recipients. So if you're the average mother on here, or you know somebody, and you're the average family, and you just had a baby, I feel sorry for you because you're not on the system.
The top issue for retailers raised with me. Secondly, the FDA just issued a statement about importation of formula from abroad. The FDA has been looking at will be working with manufacturers to facilitate the incorporation of formulas from abroad that, in fact, in places like Europe, where we can get more product on U.S. shelves.
Well, absolutely, and that's what you're seeing the president do. With respect to imports of formula, you saw the president indicate to this, and the FDA will be out with additional guidance on importing formula from some of the jurisdictions that you mentioned.
The FDA, do you think you can't do no baby formula in warp speed? Think about this. You think if Donald Trump was in office, he'd be sending the FDA and all that stuff to test baby formulas in other countries and see if they safe and set regulations on them, stuff like that, while babies over here starving? Think about it. Joe Biden talking about cutting regulations while his babies out here starving. Or we're going to send the FDA around to different countries and down to this and do all this old shit because we want to see what milk is the best for the babies and which ones are safe. And no, man, cut the regulations. They safe in other countries. Get the baby formula, man. They rather wait and let American babies suffer than to cut the red tape. Operation Warp Speed on baby milk.
We will act, and we will act expeditiously on that.
The administration to work urgently to ensure that infant formula is safe and available for families across the country during the Abbott Nutrition voluntary recall. This is work that's been underway for months.
What do you mean for months? Y'all been working on this for months? What y'all been working on behind the scenes because you undercover and you still haven't got it done? You've been working on it for months. And the babies and it's worse now than it was a couple of months ago because now it's just starting to hit the news in the White House. But the local news and mothers been talking about it. But now it just hit the White House 2 or 3 days ago. Everybody done found out it's a baby shortage, a baby formula shortage. When the White House say they knew and been working on it for months.
Today, President Biden spoke with retailers and manufacturers, including the CEOs of Walmart, Target, Reckitt, and Gerber, to call on them to do more to help families purchase infant formula. He
told them to do more. What happened to that? He urged Donald Trump wouldn't have that problem. Or this would be a national security risk. Operation Warp Speed in progress with baby formula.
discussed Reckitt and Gerber's efforts to increase production, which have made up for the loss of production by Abbott, and asked them to identify other ways the administration can help them, on top of the actions being announced today.
Cut regulations. That's how you can help everybody. Cut regulations. Tell the FDA to stop regulating and putting these regulations that Joe Biden put on these companies so they can open up.
That's underway. I think we're going to be in a matter of weeks or less getting significantly more formula on shelves. And the FDA is also going to ensure we can import and still maintain the high safety standards.
Huh? The high safety standards, right? They're not worried about the baby milk. They're worried about the factories. Huh? They're worried about the working conditions. They're not worried about production. You hear them? The FDA shut down the place for crack equipment, leaky faucets and stuff like that. Wasn't nothing wrong with the baby formula itself. They could have cleaned that up and done all that stuff in a week, 2 weeks? Huh? They could have got some new equipment, updated the equipment. It ain't taking no months to update no equipment. The FDA still got a lockdown on on Abbott, and Abbott ain't even. I'm pretty sure Abbott done updated their equipment, but Abbott ain't even the cause of these baby deaths, and they still got them shut down. War on the middle class woman.
And the third thing there's more to say about each of these, but the third major thing we're doing is that any parent who has a serious question about the particular formula they need, because there's very different formulas, some are very precise, and if they don't get the exact right formula, the impact on the child is extremely negative. We have set up a system whereby you can contact HHS and go to www.hhs.gov/formula.
And I went there, and all they tell you is, don't do this and don't do that, and if you have any questions, call this place. It doesn't tell you about how to get no milk. Go to your local WIC. You know what I'm saying? When they say your local doctor, right? When they say your local, they talking about the WIC people. Go to your local WIC, whatever. Your local physician. That's the person at the WIC, and say, what other milk can I get? Half the country's baby milk is going to welfare recipients.
Let's launch this website to help parents find resources, obtain formulas, including contact with companies and food banks and health providers that, in fact, may have access to the particular formula they need.
It's a website. You going? It's stupid. It's a website that gives you references. It doesn't. I don't think Joe. It's the same kind of. Remember, we created a website so you can know where to get a shot. We created a website so you know where to go get a test. We created a website so you know you go get a mask. What? Every time you want to create a website, we create a website so you can know where to go get baby food. No, it's not.
This is a process. We're working on it very, very hard. There's nothing more urgent we're working on than that right now.
Right now, it could have been urgent a couple of months ago. Huh? It could have been urgent when Jen Psaki said y'all been working on it for months. It could have been urgent at the beginning before you had the FDA shut down Abbott.
And I think we're going to be making some significant progress very shortly.
We're all fatigued with the COVID pandemic, and milk donation is probably not top of mind for many moms.
This freezer, usually packed with donated milk, now stands half empty. The Human Milk Banking Association of North America is calling on people with an excess of breast milk to find their local milk bank and donate.
They're not doing it. Every milk going down. Regular women milk going down because they're selling it more online now. They're selling it more black market now. That milk is liquid gold right now.
Let me describe 3 specific areas I'm focusing on. First, supply chains. We're proposing to make the biggest investment in ports in our history. The bill would also make investments in our supply chains and manufacturing and strengthening our ability to make more goods from the beginning to end. Well, let me explain.
He finna explain, right? In case you don't know, he finna explain to you what the supply chain is, right? And we explain you right what the supply chain is, you understand that Joe Biden failed on every level on what a supply chain is.
Supply chains essentially mean how we make things and how the material and parts get delivered to a factory, so we can manufacture things and manufacture them here. How we move things, how a finished product moves from a factory to a store to your home. And today we have an important announcement that will get things you buy to the shelves faster. Before getting an update from my supply chain task force.
According to reports in January, retailers blamed supply chain problems for the limited supply.
The Burlington mom got an email recently letting her know
supply chain problems, right? This is early this year. Supply chain problems. They was going on way back then for baby formula, Joe. Joe now just coming up with a plan for supplies for baby formula when it should been happening for months.
About the supply issue and how the formula shortage could affect her order.
Stores like Kroger say demand for baby formula is extremely high across the nation. The chain is purchasing the maximum amount to help meet the need, but like other products, there are still inconsistencies in the supply chain due to the pandemic.
She later saw an ad on Instagram from another formula supplier dealing with the same issues.
Now several big chain stores are limiting purchases to prevent hoarding.
Oliver says they've been grabbing extra just in case things get worse.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Target, Kroger, Walgreens, and CVS are now rationing the vital products.
Wait, and they've been rationing vital products for months now. Think about this. Production has been down, right? The demand has been up, and they've been rationing for a couple of months. And people have been harvesting for a couple of months because they knew that this day was coming. So smart people was harvesting, right? They was doing it like the toilet paper because they saw it coming. It's people who didn't take it serious or people that was misinformed and was lied to, right? Them are the people that's suffering right now. The middle class woman, the woman that thought that the baby food was poison. The woman that was lied to and say the production is stepping up. The woman that was lied to and say the supply chain is fixed. That woman right there is suffering from believing in this administration. The middle class woman, the woman who voted for him, you know what I'm saying? The woman probably who didn't vote for him, they suffering because they believe what they heard. They didn't go out and they didn't harvest. They didn't go out and they didn't do what they need to do to get the milk that they need right now, and other people did. So yes, it's a shortage because the people is harvesting, they still going out buying milk right now. They're gonna make sure they don't run out. But think about this. It's very few dollars. I mean, it's a lot of dollars chasing the few products, and that's that milk. It's only so much milk is produced. Think about it. Only so much with the company shut down. If half of it goes to welfare recipients and a quarter of it right now, say 25%, is going to immigrants, that means the rest of the country of working women, whoever women that's not on WIC or welfare system, is fighting for that 25% that's spread out through the country. And probably not nowhere near you. It depends on where you live, because what if your local community store don't get deliveries like that, or you live in a town where you ain't got no big population, and you know what I'm saying, and you only get a limited supply of certain things. What if you live in one of them countries? What do you do for your baby? How far you got to travel to get the milk? But if you're a welfare recipient, all you got to do is go to the local WIC office.
We need to make sure that nobody is taking advantage of the situation. We've seen some reports of people hoarding, buying, and then posting online for exorbitant prices. We need to make sure that there's none of that is happening.
One of the things that I will say that did affect... We need to make sure none of that is happening, but we see it all the time. We see people posting this. We need to make sure none of that is happening. You see it. You just said you see it, you dumb son of a bitch. We see it, but we want to make sure ain't none of it happening.
A lot of the shortage was consumers jumping or hoarding. You can't really blame a parent. You know, a parent, much like myself and many others, you know, they don't want their children to not have.
Nobody knows where to look.
Abbott has issued a voluntary recall, putting even more pressure on parents like Peruzzi, who've been struggling with a nationwide formula shortage for months now due to labor issues and supply chain problems.
The formula crisis didn't happen overnight. Pandemic-related supply chain issues last year, coupled with a voluntary recall this year by one of the largest producers, packed the final punch.
Supply chain issues from last year. The local news have been reporting this. Biden have been lying to you in your face. Right now, next time you get on here, he's gonna get on there and talk about he didn't know about the baby food shortage. Lying in your face when they could have been prepared. This would have never happened under Donald Trump. Donald Trump would have never left the fucking babies starving in the street.
First, the supply chain snarl slowed down infant formula. Then we had a major recall.
In February, Abbott Laboratories issued a recall for its baby formula after reports that some infants became seriously ill. That recall made the problem even worse. According to the Washington Post, for the week of April 3rd, roughly 31% of formula products were out of stock across the country.
Well, I would say that the president is going to continue to use every tool we have in order to bridge that gap. And
no one believes that.
And this has been work that has been underway for weeks and months now. We know that if they get approval, obviously, as you noted, it will take them some time to get up and running again.
Get them up and running again when they shouldn't have been shut down in the first place. Now they got to get up and running again. Think about it. This is your country, y'all. We're about to get to the illegal immigrants, and we're about to get to how the liberals feel about us feeding Americans. Not feeding Americans and feeding immigrants. I'm gonna let you I don't know that fool name on NSNBC, but I'm gonna let you know what he think about American kids and immigrant kids. The difference between them. Some of the sickest shit you want to hear in your life.
So who said that? Who said that? The president announced earlier today, and I just reiterated, is step.
Betty Boop, get looking out for the donation on the Betty Boop. Get looking out on the donation. Also, Slaphead, get looking out on another donation. Thought I missed you. Get looking out on another donation. I think, but get looking out, Betty Boop. But you see this, Betty Boop? You see how they sit up here and lie to you when they knew it the whole time, Betty? Betty, if you got somebody in your family, right, that's have an infant, you need them to watch this video and tell them the government is lying to you. They shut down factories. They say the babies are poison. They say all of that. They giving the milk to the welfare recipients while you sitting up here struggling. Right? This ought to be something. This is a war on the kids and the middle class woman, the working woman, the young mother. But if you're under the federal program, right? If you're in any kind of federal program or federal funding, you ain't got to worry about it. Remember when the pandemic and everybody was searching for food and stuff like that? Where they gave the welfare recipients a brand new EBT card where they can go out and shop with extra money, extra food. While you suffering and you got one check for $1,400. One check for $1,400, $1,000, $1,600. They got that same check, plus they got food stamps for over a year, right? You didn't get them food stamps. They got them food stamps $400, $500, depending on how many kids you got. They got all them stamps. While you was at home, you got that $1,400, your money being ran out. They still getting money, $300, $400, $500 a month by the federal government. They through with you. You done got your $1,000. But you under the federal program, you get the hazard free food. While the other person that's working got that $1,000, they don't put some repairs on their car or done whatever, you know what I'm saying, updated some shit, caught up on some bills or something like that. Now they back in the same position. While the person that's on welfare getting another extra food stamp that's add on to the food stamps and the money that they're already getting, right? They get extra money. Now you telling me they getting extra baby food?
we can take from here to increase supply. Make sure.
Good looking out on the donation was that Dean Watson. Good looking out on the donation, Dean Watson. For sure. Glad you liked the video, Dean.
It's on the shelves.
And Biden defended his administration, brushing off questions over whether he should have acted sooner. He said White House officials are working very hard to bring relief to families.
Obviously, supply chain is a part of that, and supply chain, I would say.
Ain't that the same thing they asked Joe Biden about the masks, about the tests, about ordering stuff? Why you ain't acting soon about Afghanistan, about Ukraine, about sanctions? Now they asking the same thing about baby food? Why you didn't act sooner, Joe Biden? You knew it was coming. Why you didn't act sooner? The same thing. Baby food.
It is an imperfect science, but obviously one that everybody is kind of aware of now.
Earlier this fall, we heard a lot of dire warnings about supply chain problems leading to a crisis around the holidays.
The formula shortage has been building for about a year.
We brought
The formula shortage have been building for about a year. Joe Biden just found this out 2 days ago. I guess he thought this shit was gonna pass. I guess he thought he was gonna fix the supply chain before we got a chance to figure it out. But guess what? You didn't. And now we faced with it. Now we slap dead, and it's coming a full head of steam in front of everybody. Everybody is saying it because they tried to hide it. Talking about you fix the supply chain, and ain't nobody suffering. Everybody getting it. The food is on the shelves. Ain't no shelves empty. Right? But then you say only on some products. Well, guess what? Milk was one of them products.
Together business and labor leaders to solve problems. And the much predicted crisis didn't occur. Packages are moving. Gifts are being delivered. Shelves are not empty.
Formula. Many parents are worried because their supply is running low and shelves are still empty.
Morgan Norwood reports on how the White House is stepping up to meet the demand.
Working with many of the CEOs and others to keep these goods moving through our supply chain to ensure the shelves are stocked heading into the holiday season.
But just last week, the national out-of-stock rate for baby formula jumped to a high of 43%.
But he's doing everything he can to stop the shortage of baby formula in food supplies and food supply chains, the chain supply.
Experts in this field look at two statistics for retail inventories, which is how many goods how many good retailers have on hand and on-shelf availability.
So what do you see as the main cause of baby formula not enough being on the shelves?
So much like every product right now, the supply chain has been extremely affected by the beginning and continuation of the pandemic.
Regulations. Joe Biden regulations is about to start. I mean, what happens when these babies don't get the formula they need? What happens? What happens when they don't get the vitamins they need? What happens? What happens when women got a substitute for things? What happened? Babies will die. Right? And then you know what they would call it? They would call it SIDS. Right? If you look up I just covered it, I think. No, I'm covering the next video, right? I'm covering the next video about abortions, right? If you look up infant death syndrome or something like that, that's the death rate between infants and 1 year old, right? Black women, right, is at a high rate on that too. We had a very high, black people had a very high rate, right? So they call that SIDS. So it's not. It's gonna be a lot of babies that pass away, right? Because babies pass away every day, right? And they're gonna call it SIDS, and it comes from malnutrition or certain blood clots or anything. They call it SIDS. Sudden kids, it covers a wide range of things. SIDS, he slept the wrong way. SIDS, brain damage. SIDS, stomach. SIDS, his heart started beating. SIDS, right? There's going to be a lot of baby having SIDS because of this.
Supply chains have a little bit of tolerance throughout the linkage, and each part is interdependent upon the part before that being, efficient or consistent. And when any one of those parts doesn't do their part or seems to be out of those tolerances, you have an extreme imbalance.
An extreme imbalance. Too much production, not enough shipment. Supply chain. Something Joe Biden been talking about all since this pandemic. He's going to get right. Guess what, middle class women? You're suffering. He's going to give it to the people who vote for him, right? The welfare recipients, the immigrants. Then the people who vote for him. The middle class women ain't gonna vote for him. He wiping y'all out with these high taxes, gas, all that. It's affecting middle class family, food, all that. He not wanting your vote no more. Cause guess what? The women on WIC don't have to pay for her food. She get free food stamps, about $500 to $600 every month. She doesn't work for her food. She doesn't have to worry about it. You do. They don't.
I would say a good kind of comparison or analogy would be if you have a baseball game downtown and everybody's expecting for all three major highways to be accessible, and then all of a sudden you remove two of them, then that 45 minutes or whatever.
Matter of fact, wait a minute. Since you ain't, let me see if I got it up in here. Because I accidentally erased the video, but I'm pretty sure I got the video up in here somewhere. Let me see, right here. Let me see what this video is right here. This was
hard to find baby formula.
No, it's not it. Baby formula. Okay, this is it right here. Ah, damn it. Can I open it? Can I? Okay, open it. Yes, open it. Yeah, open it. Why I can't open it? Oh, well, let me try this one right here. I don't know why I can't open it. Maybe because I got something playing on. What the hell? Why I can't open none of these things? Infant more. This is it right here. This is it. Open with. Why I can't open with? Open with something. Yes, open with that. Okay, open. Here you go, right here. This is one of the videos right here. Infant mortality rate. Damn it! I don't know what crown. I don't know what the hell that is. Baby in here. Infant mortality rate. Let me see if this is. If this not it, forget it.
It's about the margins. So there was that California 20.
That was Joe Biden thing. What in the hell is this? They erased all my videos. Oh my God. This is the last one. I kind of wanted to cover that. Nope, that's not that. That's time, them donors. It's not that. Oh well. Better luck next time. Right? But if there was SIDS, I'm covering that. I was covering that with the abortion thing. Oh well, forget it. I'll come back to that, right? But I was covering the SIDS thing with the abortion thing, right? On how black women are they're not only the number one aborted baby, right? They're the number one baby with SIDS and infant death syndrome, right? Infant death syndrome, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's babies who die from the age of infancy to the age of one, right? And it's a lot of different causes. But black women are the number one cause of that. I mean, not number one cause, are the number one victims of that, right? So not only, and we're at we're at 36% of that too, like I think a third of that too, right? White women low, right? You know, I think it's like out of they put the percentage like this: every 11,000 babies, 6 are probably Hispanics die from SIDS. I mean, SIDS, the infant death syndrome, right? 4, I think, white women, and 11 black kids. 4, 6, and 11. I wish I could find that damn video. 11.
Time that you allowed.
Huh? I wonder why I can't find that video. 11 kids die from SIDS. You know what I'm saying? A baby from SIDS or
paid their fair share.
All this damn Joe Biden sitting on here. I got this damn Joe Biden stuff. I want to cover this SIS thing right quick while we oh man, this is crazy. I want to cover this SIS thing right quick while it's not that. It must be right here. Let me try this right here. Cause I just done it.
May be the reason that Norma McCorvey...
Okay, now we're getting close to it. Oh, here we go.
That Roe is fatal.
Here we go.
As Justice John Paul Stevens did what they called a joint ending in the Supreme Court to only who can be save us. Now, throughout the states and according to the Centers for Disease Control, African American women, Native American women, Alaska Native women are dying of pregnancy-related causes at 3 times the rate of white women. And most of those deaths are preventable. So in our world where it would be available, not just at Planned Parenthoods and available, and if you had any doubt about the importance of getting politically active, we could also pass a constitutional amendment, what I call a gender, be a permanent part of the...
I walked out of the car over the years.
It's an alarming rate of maternal mortality. Abortion is of reproductive health. Now, I'm not going to bother to tell you all how to get politically active. This is a crowd that knows how to. Our world look like if we were able to... is queen. Roe, save Roe, save Roe. Who can be sued? Remember that number 5. 6 weeks of pregnancy, it allowed accessing safe that actually have an abortion provider. New burdens on women filed in 1992. Then, prepared to overrule the Supreme Court is going to overrule women. And women are unable to operate to protection of women's health. So let's take those each in turn. Religion. You know, the reality of the world is because in the United States, we have one of the highest rates of infant mortality in the developed world.
Here we go, right here.
They also should be supporting programs for children once they are born. And, you know, what about the protection of women's health? Well, the reality is abortion is already an extremely safe surgical procedure.
But they get into
less safe.
Infant mortality death.
In my view, what we're really talking about, this fixation on abortion by opponents, those people who the only number that mattered and took a vote and a draft opinion.
Okay, well, I don't do this video. We talking about abortion. That's gonna come, right? But I wanted to get to that part right about I don't know what part that actually is, right? But she's talking about women's death, right? The numbers on infant deaths and stuff like that. They ran the test. I don't know if it's on that video, if it's on the video later on, but I was on the right page on that, right? But if we get back into this video.
Yourself to get downtown is not going to be enough. There's been additional, impediments that have also followed, COVID lockdowns, issues with shortages just from labor.
President Biden asked why he didn't take these steps sooner.
If we'd been better mind readers, I guess we could have, but...
Joe Biden said he could have been a better mind reader and he could have took these steps sooner. See how Joe Biden just laugh in your face? Huh? Our baby formula, babies out here finna die, and he gonna laugh. If I could have been a better mind reader, I would have done it sooner. Well, everybody been telling you, it's been on the news. The FDA reported the factory been closed down, the supply chain been fucked up. How you didn't know, Joe Biden? You said it was gonna be a food shortage your damn self. How you didn't know, Joe Biden? Your administration said they've been working on it for months. How you didn't know, Joe Biden?
We moved as quickly as the problem became apparent to us.
Also note that we also think it's morally the right thing to do. This is a difference from the last administration. It is the law, but we believe that when children and babies I should say, are crossing the border with a family member, that providing them formula is morally right.
Right? It's morally right to give immigrants formula, right? But it's morally wrong but it's morally right also to leave our shelves like this. Think about this. It's morally right to stock their shelves. First of all, they're not supposed to be over anyway. Second of all, they're supposed to be reassigned with a parent and move the hell up out of there. So what the hell they need all that formula for? Pallets of it. Right? This is moral too. This is moral. For the United States, for our country's shelves to look like this when it comes to baby food. This is moral, y'all. This is what the Democrats think is moral.
Prices has been building for months. The cause? Pandemic-related supply issues and a massive recall of Abbott brand formula. Despite millions of anxious parents stocking empty store shelves looking for baby formula, the FDA insists stock is stabilizing. President Biden at the White House trying to offer reassurance.
This is a process. We're working on it very, very hard. There's nothing more urgent.
Joe Biden has directed his administration to work urgently to ensure that infant formula is safe and available for families across the country during the Abbott Nutrition voluntary recall.
Asked why the administration has not acted sooner, the White House said efforts had been underway for months.
Huh? Ever have been? They said they've been working with it for months. How they know it wasn't gonna come? Joe Biden said if I had been a psychic and a mind reader, I would have knew what would happen. Well, you said they said you've been working with the formula and the companies for months. Joe Biden lying in your face. Huh? He lied in your face.
The CEO of Etsy represents over 5 million small businesses and entrepreneurs. He told me, and I quote, our survey data says they're less concerned about supply chain challenges this year than they were last year.
Huh? Lying in your face.
Packages are moving. Gifts are being delivered. Only Santa Claus can keep that promise.
Only Santa Claus can keep the promise. He can't.
Shelves are not empty. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. And thanks to those steps we're taking, very soon we're going to see the supply chain start catching up with demand, which measures how many goods are actually on the shelves there to be purchased. Today, retail inventories are up 3% from last year.
Not in baby food. You see all he talking, all this good news? Retail is up. All this is up. Supply chain is up. It's getting fixed. Not with baby food.
Inventories are healthy. And on-shelf availability before the pandemic was about 91%. Today, it's at 90%.
Not with baby food. He giving all these good numbers, right? I mean, this was before baby food, but he giving all these good numbers, right? But But the most essential thing, one of the most essential things we need, right, to help the babies, is not being produced. It's not in production. All because the FDA shut it down because of regulations. All Joe Biden got to do is cut regulations.
90%. I'm sure you can go and find some shelf where it's empty because a particular sort of gifts are very popular. I don't know.
Yeah, baby milk is very popular. Baby milk is very, very popular. It's matter of fact, I think baby milk is one of the most popular things on the face of the earth. Huh? It's right now. I think it's one of the most. Matter of fact, I think it's one of the most important things on the face of the earth. I would put baby formula over clean energy, whatever, like that. Because ain't you doing it for the kids' future? How you gonna prepare for the kids' future? And you can't prepare for the kids' present. Huh? You gonna fuck up their present so they ain't gonna be able to enjoy their future. This is brain medicine. This is nutrition. This is stuff they've been needing for. I know at a certain point in time it wasn't no baby milk at all. People have to create baby milk, but that shit is far and in between is new stuff now. People are working. People don't have that time. If different stuff women eat that they probably don't want to give to their baby. Because what you put in, you also got to give out. It's women on medication that they can't take they can't breastfeed because if they breastfeed, guess what? That medicine is going into their baby. Huh? It's certain women that take drugs and you damn sure don't want them to give their baby no damn breast milk. And they on drugs. You better get their ass an Enfamil. But it's a supply chain.
Food security is national security.
Food security is national security, right? You want to pump babies with shots. You want to pump baby with medicine, but you don't want to pump babies with food? Y'all spent the last year trying to find out how to get Trump juice inside of little babies. But you ain't found out how to get Enfamil and oatmeal and baby formula? All the scientists running all this tests to see if it's gonna be all right and how young it can be before a baby can take it. All this time, y'all was concentrating on that. That was more of a national security than a baby eating. And that's a national crisis. Right? You send money over to Ukraine for their national crisis about food aid and stuff like that, but you didn't do nothing for ours? You didn't send a couple of billion to put on the baby formulas? Put them on the back burner. But let the immigrants have all the baby formula.
And right now we have a food security crisis for the most vulnerable of Americans, the ones that we cherish the most, and that's our babies.
But cherish the most. But we don't give a damn because we sending it over the border.
Is the government stocking formula and sending it elsewhere all the while? Those are the claims circulating tonight, and our verified team investigates whether that formula is in fact going to the southern border.
So we've reached the now look how he compare. Now if you watch a liberal channel and you believe in liberal ideas, right? Put yourself in a liberal shoes and you follow and you understand liberalism. And look how he talked about how the Republicans want to kill immigrant babies. But he don't talk about nothing about the babies over here. But he said how the Republicans are heartless. Right? They soulless. They rather the baby starve. But he don't say nothing about the baby starving over here. Look how evil this shit sound.
We've reached the point where prominent figures in the conservative movement, including Republican politicians, office holders, and Fox News hosts, are calling for the United States to intentionally starve babies in its care.
This is sadly Joe Biden's America.
It is. He said they want you to starve babies. Ain't nobody that evil. Ain't nobody talking about starve no babies. We talking about feed ours. It's a difference. Republicans want to starve babies. Now, if you a liberal, you're like, damn, the Republicans some cold shit. They want to starve immigrant babies. Look, they got a commercial over here, right? It's a dude named, I think, Eric Early running for, I think, mayor or something like that, right? And it's a dude running against. I saw the commercial yesterday, right? They said, right, this was part of the commercial. Eric Early want to send immigrants back to Mexico. Eric Early is not with hard-working immigrants getting citizenship, right? Eric Early want to bring Trump ideas to California. Eric Early, too conservative for California. That was their commercial. It was about immigrants. The whole thing about working immigrants, sending immigrants back, right? To being conservative, Donald Trump policies, right? He's too conservative for California. Too conservative? That was their commercial. That's what they run on. And that's what they're going to try to get their votes on. Right? Not being conservative. Not being Trump. Because they see this type of shit. But they don't see the Republicans are fighting for their kids to be fed. The Republicans are fighting for people, for their parents to have rights. The Republicans are the ones that's fighting for your children rights, your mother rights, your woman rights. They fight for all that. While the Democrats trying to take all that shit away. Your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment right. It's Republicans fighting for all that shit. The Democrats trying to take it all away. information czar, disinformation czar, take your guns away, defund the police. Right? Now it's baby milk? They want to threaten judges. Huh? They want to hold protests. They want to burn down churches. It's the Democrats that are violent. And they're using you as bait. With like the video I'm finna do tomorrow, right? When Roe versus Wade, Roe didn't even get no damn abortion. She never had an abortion. Right? They used the shit out of her. She didn't even have an abortion. That's what liberals do. They don't care who you is. They got a certain group of people that they use and manipulate, right? Because they know they can.
Working families are already struggling to put food on the table due to the skyrocketing cost of everyday items. And now they are facing a crisis that is threatening the very lives of their newborn children.
So we can verify, yes, the U.S. government is providing formula to migrant babies at the border.
Yes, they is. While our babies over here starving. Right? Because as the fake news said, Republicans don't care about immigrant babies.
President Biden and the FDA must do more. This is a matter of life or death.
That is not hyperbole, and it's not satire. It is the actual stated position now on the right.
Joe Biden simply has no plan.
So we're asking the question to this administration, how are you prioritizing this? What actions are you taking to relieve the pain of families?
In fact, when Joe Biden's White House was asked about the shortage, they laughed.
Modern conservative movement really does when faced with a legitimate governing crisis. What they do is sniff around like a dog after a carcass to find the grossest way to demagogue the issue.
Huh? You see how you sound? If you was a liberal, like, yeah, the Republicans are some sick son of a bitches. The Republicans are evil. The Republicans don't give a damn about humans. The Republicans don't give a damn about immigrants. They want immigrants to starve. But overlooking the kids starving in America. Overlooking the mother who said they got to go stress their milk out. I bet you ain't no immigrant got to stress their milk out. I bet you ain't no immigrant got to travel miles burning gas that's high as shit to go look for no baby food. The immigrant woman ain't got to go through the same thing. I mean, if we're going to have limited baby supply, let them have a limited baby supply. Make sure ours are stocked before you give them. They should be getting the leftovers, not us. How's we getting the leftovers? How's that shit already pre-planned to go over there on carts and crates? And we don't know when we're going to get our next local community store like baby milk and shit put up in there. Huh? It's a difference. They got crates. It's waiting on them. Right? We just had mothers in here testify that they got to drive miles, blocks, cities, states, get it shipped to them. Spend $140 for a can to feed their baby. An immigrant ain't got to do that. They don't get charged for that. They don't get charged for the phone. They don't get charged for transportation, the motel vouchers, and of course the baby milk.
This is sadly Joe Biden's America. Working families are already struggling to put food on the table due to the skyrocketing cost of everyday items. And now they are facing a crisis that is threatening the very lives of their newborn children.
So the right solution to this formula crisis and shortage is to stop feeding the immigrant babies.
Stop feeding the immigrant babies, right? Well, what is the ultimate outcome if we keep feeding them? And our babies are starving. And our babies are without. Somebody got to do without. So what MSNBC is saying is they'd rather your baby starve than an immigrant baby starve. That's what they think of you and your kids.
Yesterday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said in a statement, in part, quote, while mothers and fathers stare at empty grocery store shelves in panic, the Biden administration is happy to provide baby formula to illegal immigrants coming across our southern border.
You see how he tried to sound sarcastic, like that's a bad thing? illegal immigrants coming across our border. If you're a liberal, you think this shit is creepy. You think this is scary. You think the Republicans are evil.
Our children deserve a president who puts their needs and survival first, not one who gives critical supplies to illegal immigrants before the very people he took an oath to serve.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with him saying America needs somebody that served the people? The people that put him in office, the people that he swore that he would serve. He didn't swear he would serve the immigrants. The very people he took an oath to serve wasn't Mexico. It was America.
The conservative hosts on Fox News have just run that through the echo chamber.
Our border children, the illegal immigrant children, are getting formula.
American families, there's a shortage, but if you're a migrant, don't worry because Uncle Sam has a stash of that.
They're trying to make it sound like Fox News is racist for saying this. You see how they try to set Fox News up on being a racist channel? Right? This is how you set them up. Say they're racist. Say they don't like babies. Say they don't like immigrants. Right? This is how the liberals add fuel to the flame and say people are racist. Look at the clips they cut out.
Apparently, there's no shortage of baby formula for illegal aliens.
These are not people that respected our borders, our laws, and our sovereignty. Why wouldn't all the pallets go to American families first?
Why are we feeding illegal babies ahead of American babies?
Is the craziness of the empty shelves Biden movement and the fact that they are sending pallets of baby formula to the border. Meanwhile, in our own district, at home, we cannot find baby formula.
Because they're babies, you doofus.
Do you see that? Huh? He's mad that Republicans want to feed American babies first. See how it twisted a liberal mind thinks? They are doofuses and idiots because they want to feed American babies first.
Why are we feeding illegal babies? That guy just asked. His name is Jesse. He is, of course, pro-life.
What's wrong with being pro-life? Oh, he's, of course, pro-life. Is that a bad thing? Because he's pro-life? Oh, and of course, he's pro-life. He want to feed American babies before he want to feed immigrant babies. He's a monster.
Happen if they could control this, if they could actually have the levers to cut off the supply of formula to the hundreds of babies in our custody. Would they do it? Question to ask yourself.
You think about this.
Hell yeah.
The Biden administration, we hear crisis after crisis after crisis.
We're having constant, persistent crisis after crisis.
And here we have another significant crisis.
And this is another one of these, and this is so much more concerning than anything weather-related. We're not in the pandemic issue anymore. We've got to get our FDA and our supply chain process going again and coming with real solutions.
To get the FDA out of these regulations. It wasn't these regulations. See, the FDA only putting these regulations because Joe Biden put these regulations in place. The FDA wouldn't have been tripping on certain things unless Joe Biden put these regulations in place, and not just on the milk company, on transportation, storage, production, factories, right? It's oil, food, chicken farms. He put regulations on everything. Every industry that's doing bad right now, right? Say because of the regulations Joe Biden put on them. Think about it. The oil industry says that. The food industry, the farmers, says all because of regulations. The truckers. These factories, private businesses. They're lucky they didn't get the mask mandate across. It would have been more regulations. Right? Allowing people to stay at home. Production was low because people were staying at home because they were scared of this and scared of that, and they was getting paid to stay at home. Production is low. In those same companies shut down. People staying at home. They can't afford the workers. But I'm using everything in my toolbox to make sure we get back running.
This is a picture from a Target. Oh, it's upside down, sorry. Okay, we literally are struggling to find baby formula around the country. Moms are struggling going from store to store to store, and then the stores are actually capping the amount of baby formula that they will sell them. This was taken at Ursula processing facility where thousands are being housed and processed and then released subsequently into the United States. But, and this got sent to me by a Border Patrol agent this morning and said, this is disgusting. You will not believe this. They're receiving pallets and more pallets of baby formula at the border.
Pallets, right? Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene finna cap this whole thing off, right? She finna give you the real about and sum it up in all the and everything I said with this whole video, right? And sum it up, right? Everything about the regulations and everything I was trying to say, she finna sum it up in a very short video. All this stuff, and you're gonna see everything she talk about, everything she say is true. I don't give a fuck if you're liberal or not. You gotta agree with everything she say. If not, your ass is crazy, because she speak the truth.
Completely, squarely on the shoulders of the Biden administration and the Democrats that are controlling our government. You see, this didn't start just last month. It was July of last year when baby formula shortages started.
July of last year, and I just done videos, and I just brought a video clip of mothers from July of last year, November of last year, January of this year, February, from every damn month, right? For the last year, I done brought up a woman that's talking about baby shortages, right? A news station, a news article. I mean, a news reporter done said it, right? For a whole 16 months. I mean, not 16 months. For a whole damn year, right? It didn't just start.
And that happened because of COVID lockdowns and the complete crisis and shutdown in our supply chains. Now with rising inflation and fuel prices, this is going to continue.
It's going to continue. She's giving you a warning, right? So brace it. If you're a mother out there and you're not getting no milk, right? And you can't find no milk, and you're buying milk at high prices and stuff like that, what Marjorie Taylor Greene is telling you is going to continue. Brace for it. Get ready for it. It's going to happen.
This is not going to remedy itself quickly.
Look, I think we need to take a moment and think about the fact that in Joe Biden's America, it seems like it's easier to get a crack pipe in a government-funded smoking kit than it is to find baby formula.
You can find a crack pipe, needles, and methamphetamine, right, and fentanyl, right, more than you can find baby formula. It's more crack pipes getting distributed than it is baby formula. Huh? Think about it. More crack pipes getting donated than baby formula.
We also have over-regulation through the FDA, and this has been going on for years.
Over-regulation from the FDA. That's why the factory cut down. Joe Biden is not cutting these regulations off. Joe Biden is not releasing none of these regulations. He's holding on to these regulations. This is how he get paid through these regulations, right? By making people pay extra money to get these regulations fixed. Who they pay them they get fined. And who they get fined by? They get fined by the government, and the government get that money. So you put more regulations in, the more private industry, the more private companies get shut down or either pay money and taxes and owe money for this and that, right? It's all a setup. It's all a game, right? Biden had regulations. Do you know how many regulations Donald Trump cut of Obama when he first got in office? Hundreds of them. Huh? One of the main ones he cut was the regulations on clean energy, drilling on federal land, fracking. They helped us get energy independent. Joe Biden is doing the same thing right now, is putting all these regulations in place, right, for the last couple of years. or the last year or so, now it's hurting the production of baby formula.
Label requirements, shipping requirements, and very strict rules when it comes to baby formula.
Labeling and shipping. Remember Joe Biden said that earlier. Oh, it's not about the label. It's not about the shipping. We got to do this. We got to do that, right? It's all about regulations. Joe Biden ain't cut the regulations on nothing. But he's sitting in your face talking about, and even like with the oil and what he doing with the baby food right now. He putting regulations on to make it tougher to make baby food. Then he's sitting up here, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to turn all of my tools when in the background he hitting the people with regulations on everything, oil and food and baby formula. Why get in front of the camera and say, I'm going to try every tool and blame it on everybody else? It's the private industry. They need to step up their production. It's the production. It's transportation. I'm going to fix the supply chain. I ain't done it yet.
I'm a new father of a 4-month-old and to survive. And Elise, you mentioned third world countries. I've served in third world countries. I've seen the effects when infants have to subsist on formula that's been cut in order to spread it out, or no formula at all, or water, and the stunted growth, the mental capacity that's affected is sad, and it's heartbreaking.
How many kids finna suffer from that same thing with this shortage? There's no relief in sight. None. No relief. Joe Biden telling you this. He hasn't told you a plan yet. The only plan Joe Biden said is, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to cut every corner. I'm going to use every tool in the toolbox. I'm going to try. That's the only thing he said. No plan at all. He said the same thing on oil. I'm going to try everything I can to lower the pump, the pain at the pump. Then he tried to blame it on Putin. Right? This is your president. Everything he touches turn to shit. Everything he do is late. Everything he say is a lie. He gonna sit up there and say he doing everything he can, but all he gotta do is release regulations on oil, food, gas, transportations, all that, and the country will get back. But everything is still in this pandemic shit. We still ain't out of the pandemic, according to Joe. So we gotta keep all these regulations in place, but we can't keep Title 42 in place. That's one regulation we can't keep in place. But every other regulation, keep it in place.
So it's not just getting a supply here at home, it's difficult to get it from overseas. When you have mothers crying in grocery stores because they can't find food to feed their babies, that is a critical sign that we are in a country in despair, we're a country in crisis, and we have to do everything we can to change it.
This is not a third world country, last I checked, but some days it feels like it lately. And what have we heard? What have we collectively heard from the Biden administration since we've been raising this issue? Silence, crickets, zero, nothing.
I have one thing to say, and this is something that it's hard to even imagine, but
watch what she's finna say. She finna give you one of the realest lines a politician ever gave you right here. One of the realest lines from one of the realest women, right? She finna give it to you right here.
We cannot trust our government. If you're an expecting mother, I strongly urge you to do the best you can to try to breastfeed your baby.
We cannot trust our government. It came out of her mouth, especially not the government right now. I urge you to do everything you can to try to breastfeed, because we cannot trust our government. That's sad, but it's also true.
Because you cannot depend on this government that is supposedly running our country to create the right conditions in our economy for you to be able to find baby formula.
They won't create the right conditions. And that conditions cover a lot of things. It covers supply chain. It covers manufacturing. It covers the workers. It covers labor shortages. It covers production shortages, right? It covers the regulations, right? They will not create the environment for you to have the proper baby formula you need. And this is what you call voting have consequences. I want to thank everybody coming. I want to thank we got another cash donation right in the nick of time. Black, you are ever going to do a video on Saul Alinsky? Saul Alinsky? Who the hell is Saul Alinsky? I don't even know who Saul Alinsky is. I'll check him out after this because I got so many videos to do. If he's interesting, I'll check him out right after this. I'll check out Saul Alinsky after this, right, and see what he about. You know what I'm saying? If he interested man, I get on him, right? But I got to do the abortions, the life of the Roe versus Wade and all that. That's coming out tomorrow, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? And I guess I'll check out Saul Alinsky and see what he's talking about. And just see if I can do a quick video on him right quick, if he's interesting. All right. But I want to thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for donating. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't donated in a super chat, you also can donate on my PayPal or my Cash App. It will be on the bottom of the screen as soon as I get off of here or later on or something like that. If you don't already know it, you better get to know it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back. I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all later, alligators.